Hello and welcome to AdTech Woman Power, an initiative by Blasto dedicated to highlighting the voices, leadership, and ideas of women shaping the future of AdTech and MarTech. In this edition, we are speaking with Suzanna Chaplin. She is CEO and founder of esbconnect. So, over the past 14 years, Suzanna has built esbconnect from a platform trusted by more than 600 brands, sending over 1 billion emails and reaching millions of users worldwide. My name is Paulina. I am CMO at Blasto, and today we talk about the future of email, responsible data usage, building a marketing technology company, and the role of women in shaping the next generation of industry. So happy to have you, Susanna. How are you?
Lovely to be here, Paulina, and thanks for having me. I'm good, sunny, well, finally sunny in spring, so, feeling great today.
That's perfect. So let's start from the first questions. And I think a lot of people in marketing keep saying that email is dying and becoming less relevant. So yet you built ESB Connect into a business that have sent over 1 billion emails for 600 brands. So from your perspective, what are people fundamentally misunderstanding here about email and being it is a growth channel today?
Well, I would say three things that people often misunderstand about email. Firstly, that it's just for retention. Secondly, that it's for the older generation. And thirdly, that it's just a communication channel. And the reality of it is that email is one of your most powerful acquisition channels. And secondly, all of the public users, every consumer uses email, no matter how young and old they are. It's your key to the internet. And that falls onto the third point of it's just a communication channel. Email isn't. It's the way that we log into the internet, the way that we can track someone that's on one device to another device. And so it's one of the most powerful tools in the marketer's back pocket, which allows them to do both acquisition and retention. And I think the thing that most brands might forget now is that they don't own an audience elsewhere. So they don't own the audience that is on social. That can be gone tomorrow. They don't own the audience on YouTube or own the audience on a podcast, but an email audience they truly own. And they can use that audience beyond just email as a channel, but in programmatic or in social or offline into postal. It's just all about connecting it up and using it in that way. And owning an audience means that you can talk to that community, you can develop and nurture them. And really, email isn't going to be dead because that's what you need for the future, is to own that community. It's going to be, like I said, one of the most powerful tools in the marketer's pocket.
Actually, I really liked your idea about the ownership of this audience. I think this is a real underestimated idea today. And talking about your company, I think that you've built an amazing company and you've been building it for 14 years. If you compare email marketing when you started versus today, what are the biggest shifts that completely changed how brands should approach email as a channel? And for brands improving their strategy right now, maybe you can give us what are the three things they should start doing and the three mistakes they should stop immediately doing.
Cool. So I take that in a few different ways. So as email is an acquisition channel, so a brand using it to go out to a provider like us. So a brand comes and uses ESB Connect because we have our own consumer base, and then we will run campaigns for them like they would use Meta, but instead of Meta being the channel's email. And I think what's fundamentally changed from when I first started this business to today is that email's so much cleaner. Like back in the day, you could take an email list and you could email it no matter whether they've engaged with you before, whether you clean that data or any of those things. So it had a bit of a bad reputation because there was a lot of dodgy data that hadn't been consented out there. But now what's changed so much in the last 14 years is the fact that deliverability is very tough. And the only way you'll get into an inbox from someone like Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, whoever it is if you're really cleaning your data, you've got a good sender's reputation and that consumer wants to hear from you. So it's become a really high engagement channel because it's heavily policed by the different inbox providers. So that's the biggest change. Like fundamentally, you have to be a good email sender and good at engaging your data to get into the inbox. So that's probably the key difference. But what hasn't changed is necessarily how brands use it as a channel. And the things I would say to stop immediately is being like, stop using it just as a push channel. We see this all the time, is that like, if you go into your inbox, everything's about push and marketing, like sell 20% off, final chance to buy this. It's very much promotion heavy and push, push, push. Secondly, like design is really boring. Like I think we all know what an email design looks like. A big infographic at the top with say 20% off and a couple of product images below. And three, it's like always that kind of channel that people fall on as like, okay, we're short on revenue this weekend, blast out another email to everyone. And brands need to stop doing that because, as I said at the beginning, this is the only channel you own, and it's the place that you can really craft and build that community. And you should think of it like you think of how you plan your social. You should steal from other channels. So like I see so many cool creative designs and ideas in social, and we don't put that into email. And there's good formats like, that isn't all about pushing. So if you take one idea from social at the moment, there's a lot of the dupe culture. Like I bought like this outfit that is X amount at this brand for this much from this brand. Here's the dupes, or, get this viral coat for X from here. And you can take that, put it in an email, and it's not about 20% off. It's taking something that's working in another channel with these formats that's working and using it in email. So my three things I would say: stop using it just as a promotional channel. Stop using it as just a way of pushing up sales last minute and trying to use it with just discounts. And then stop being boring in design, and then start stealing from other channels, thinking of it like a mini social feed, and valuing that audience as a community, the only audience you truly own.
Yeah, I think being creative is a skill that must be owned by people who create emails, because sometimes you go to your inbox and it is a disaster. So I completely agree with you here. And actually, what comes to my mind when talking about like email marketing, also first party data. So email is often positioned as one of the most powerful first party identifiers in the privacy first world. So how do you ensure responsible data usage today? And what do you think will be the biggest privacy challenge for marketers over the next 5 years?
So I think the thing with email is respect the consent. Like emails, the beautiful thing about it is it's an opt-in and an opt-out channel. And I know a lot of channels are like that, but it's the only one that consumers really understand because it feels tangible to them. Like I know I'm opting in to this and giving them my email address, and then I know I can click that unsubscribe and I'll be removed. So just respect that. Like don't try and game it, like, because if you do gather like a consumer's trust and you respect that consent, it'd be one of your most powerful pieces of data. What I probably am fearful about over the next 5 years is this, and I hate to say it, like buzzword and everything, like AI, but it's not about like AI, taking over the world or anything like that. I think the problem is that going forward, the amount of data you can connect back to an email is huge. So if I know someone's logged in on the site, I can then connect all their browsing behaviors on that site back to that email address. I can connect what they're doing on their inboxes, so what emails they're opening, clicking. I connect other attributes like, do they own a dog? What product did they buy? All of these things back to the email address. And with AI, the amount of patterns and information you're going to be able to discover about a person is going to be vast. And it's like, how do we do that in a privacy centric way and still not feel way too creepy or feel like we're overstepping the mark? And I think that's going to be a challenge. And I'll just tell you a quick story like that some people might have heard, but back in the day, and I think this was like 10 or 15 years ago, Walmart were collecting data on people's shopping habits, and they predicted that someone was pregnant often before they realized they're pregnant, and they sent a piece of direct mail to a person's house that went to a father of a daughter, which basically revealed the daughter was pregnant. And it was unintentional. It felt like personalized marketing, but caused a lot of issues. And I think that's the place we're back at now, is like, how do we ensure we're responsible with data and not revealing patterns that maybe don't want to be revealed? So yeah, that's my biggest fear for it.
Very interesting story. I heard something like that, but not this story exactly. I think, yes, big players must be very conscious of privacy data, and it is important to keep it okay. And also, what I noticed, a lot of people who are sending emails are trying to like make this opt-out form invisible, like make it white color, so you will not find it. I hate it. Like definitely, I hope people will stop doing something like that. But yes, very funny. Though you grown ESB Connect into a platform working with hundreds of brands and actually a community of millions of users. What were the one or two decisions maybe that truly unlocked growth for the company? And what advice would you give to founders founding, building, marketing, or tech businesses today?
Okay, so I think my best lesson I've learned over the last few years, and I have made a lot of mistakes, and I would never say that I'm a great leader. Like, I see lots of flaws in my leadership style and in myself. But when I look back at the last few years and the couple of things that have really like excelled the business, I think firstly, simplicity is like, you have a tendency probably as a founder to overcomplicate things and rush forward. Like, you can see the big picture and you're like, oh, we're going to get here. But then no one actually understands within the team how they can get there. You need to break it down to the most simple idea and like bite-sized chunks. Because if you try and give them a big goal that is complex for them to see, that's far off in the future, it's never going to happen. So simple, short steps, and also making sure when you are coming up with the idea, you've like got it down to its most simplistic core, and whether that's create the minimum viable product to test something out there without wasting loads of money, or to make it the most user or consumer friendly. So that is definitely my biggest learning. Secondly, is probably like the multiplier effect, in the sense of like, you can't do everything yourself as an owner. And as much as you at the beginning probably are doing everyone's job, like in the first few months and even probably the first few years, you are the dog body, expect to be like the general dog's body that does a bit of everything. But there comes a point where every person you get in, if you let them become a multiplier, you'll get 10 times bigger. And what I mean by that is like, rather than micromanaging them, let them become the person that manages people below them. Because if you can get that growth out of like every person in your business, the compounding effect would be huge. So it's kind of like, give people the freedom to then grow and expand, but give them enough instructions in the most simple and concise way for them to know what direction you want to go in. And I think if you put those two things together, you'll see the growth.
Actually, really nice advice. I think about being really simple and also not micromanaging people. I think like leaders should stop doing that, but it's not easy when you founded a company. So hopefully you can provide some grateful insights. I like them. And talking about women leadership, you've spoken openly about female leadership, parental leave, and creating space for women in the industry while also building a fast growing company. So, what structural changes do you believe in the MarTech or AdTech industries still need to make to so that more people, more women can start, lead, and scale actually companies like you did?
So I think this might feel weird for me to say, but I think we've got to stop seeing the differences and start seeing the similarities. I think there's so much focus on like women have a different style of leadership, like, we're more emotional, we're more of this, more of that. Instead, find the common ground, because within the common ground is where like people feel they can be who they want to be because they see similarities. So, oh, there's a male leader. I can also be that male leader because I've seen similarities in me. So, firstly, stop focusing on differences and start finding similarities. And where I think a lot of females don't get to the point they can lead in their career is because they're always having to take a step back. If they choose to go through the motherhood route, is they're often the lead carer. And because of the fact that maternity leave has always been favoured towards the female. So again, I think that's about finding the similarities. Like, men do want to be at home with their children. Not all men want to be the lead breadwinners. And so we've got to find like the space where they can be that as well. Because by lifting up one gender, we don't want to bring down the other gender. So find those similarities, lift both genders at a certain level so that women can excel.
That's nice thought. I think I like your ideas. They are amazing. Thank you, Susanna, for sharing your insight and experience, some stories with the Tech Woman Power community. This interview actually is a part of our ongoing initiative to spotlight inspiring women shaping the future of advertising technology. And to learn more about the AdTech Woman Power initiative, you can follow Blasto on LinkedIn and see all the events. So thank you very much. It was amazing to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you, Felina.